Come on in, everyone. Come on in because we are here for Queen's Court, y'all. I finally made it to Queen's Court. I've been wanting to review this show. First, I've been wanting to watch this show, and then I've been wanting to review this show. I finally caught up. There's so much stuff going on. I finally caught up. And you know what, y'all? I liked it. I liked the first episode. I think maybe because they were mature women, and so maybe I could relate a little bit more to them. But I liked it so far. I didn't watch last Queen's Court season 1 when Tamar Braxton was on there. But because of so much of the kerfuffle that went on with Tamar and JR, it brought my attention to the show. And so I said, you know what, even though that was a disaster, let me go on and watch season 1. I hope some of you will watch it with me. If not, you can still tune in here every week and be caught up on it, even if you don't watch it. Now, I had to watch it on Peacock. Peacock is where I had to watch it. I had to pay my $6 because that's how much it costs for Peacock per month. $6.99 to be exact. $6.99 a month to be exact. I paid my $6.99. So I said, you know what? If I don't like it, I don't cut it off. If I don't like it, I'll cut it off. But I did. It was good to have it anyway because also on Peacock I get some football. We get some football, so it was worth my $6.99. Let's put it that way. Now, before we get started, y'all. First of all, I want to say hello to everybody who made it to the premiere. Hello, everybody who's in the premiere. Good to see y'all. And then if you didn't make the premiere and you're catching it on the replay, hey to y'all too. Don't forget to leave a comment down below. And also don't forget to like the video, please. And don't forget to subscribe. And you'll get all my alerts of what's going to be live or what's going to be the premiere the next week. So hopefully sometimes you can catch a premiere and you can drop down in the chat and say hi to everyone else live and in charge. But let's get going. Let's get started with the Queen's Court. Now, the hosts of this show, just to catch people up who haven't watched, the hosts of the show are Rodney and Holly Robinson Peete. So I don't know if you guys know who Rodney Peete is. Rodney Peete was a big football star when he was in the NFL. Then he moved on to be an announcer. Holly Robinson Peete, we know she's been an actress for a long time. They've been married 29 years, y'all, 29 years. And Holly said, we've been through some stuff. Holly said, we've been through some stuff. So we're not here. We're not on this show to... We're not no relationship counselors, nothing like that. We just on here to try to make some matches. Put two people together who maybe can love on each other a little bit and people can go through life together. But they say it ain't for the faint of heart. Marriage ain't for the faint of heart. So if you're coming on here and you really want to be married, you better be ready to do some work too because it ain't easy. It ain't easy. I wonder if it doesn't get easier as people get older. When people don't have no more energy to do too much dirt out in the street or act a fool too much. Because let me tell you, arguing is tiring. It's tiring. I know as I've gotten older, I definitely want to do less of it. I'm not really an arguer anyway, but I tell you, I want to do a whole lot less. It's a whole lot easier for me to walk away than to sit there with a whole lot of energy and yell and scream at somebody. People be seeing the back of my neck quickly. I'm going to tell you, they see the back of my neck fast, especially as I get older. I'm cutting and running, y'all. I ain't got time. I don't know how many years I'm going to have on this earth, so I definitely don't want to spend these years fighting over stuff that typically is just a lot of BS. It really just is a lot of BS. But anyway, finds out we're going to have 3 ladies. We got Lisa Ray, which we know is an actress. She's been in lots of shows. Players Club. We know she's the big sister of the Brat. We know that about her. We got K. Michelle. K. Michelle is a singer. I guess she's an actress too. And I think besides her voice and her songs, I think her big little thing out in the street was that she was one of the first people a long time to go get a lot of that fake plastic surgery, those BBLs, those fake plastic booties. And she almost died over it. She talks about that a little bit. And then we have Delicious, which I was like, oh, Delicious. I remember Delicious from Flavor Flav years ago. When was that When was that on, y'all? Flavor Flav Delicious. Let me Google her. Delicious Flavor Flav. What year was that? Man, that was when reality TV first came out. When did Delicious, how long did Flavor Flav and Delicious date? Oh, they only dated for 4 months. So they didn't date long. She's from Detroit, y'all. She's from Detroit. And let me go to her. I guess her real name. She over here calling herself London now. This is weird. Okay, okay, y'all. Here we catching up. Her TV name was Delicious. Okay, let's just say that, from Flavor Flav. But her born name was Chandra Davis. But now she goes by the name of London Charles. Delicious done reinvented herself so many different times. She done reinvented herself so many times. Flavor of Love was back on in 2006. That was the second season first aired in 2006. That's when I guess she was on Flavor of Love. It seemed a long time ago than that. So she's been kind of really in the Hollywood world. You know who I'm mixing Delicious up with? I'm mixing Delicious up with Tiffany Pollard, New York. That's who I'm actually messing her up with. So I don't really know that much about Delicious. I really don't. So this is going to be my first introduction to who Delicious really is. Because I'm thinking about it. I don't remember her. I thought I remembered her. But I'm thinking I was getting her confused with New York. The girl New York. Anyway, so we got those three. And I like the little name that Holly Robinson Peete gave the ladies. She said, come on, ladies. Come on in. When they first started arriving, let's show your big QE. Well, I gave it away. Let's show your BQE. BQE. You know, normally we know BDE. And this time it's big QE. And it's your big queen energy. So that's why I chose it for the thumbnail, which is Big Queen Energy. Because I got that from Holly Robinson Peete. And first, they just started, introducing us to the ladies, letting us know. Lisa Ray starts talking about how she believes you're not put on this earth to be alone. And I agree with that. I think we are, as humans, we need each other. Okay. Do you need everybody? No, you don't need everybody. Do you need a whole lot of people all the time? No, you don't need a whole lot of people all the time. But you do need a few people. You do need more than one. You do need a few people, whether that's your children, your friends, your relatives, your husband, your wives, whatever. I do think that we're not meant to be alone. And I think we're meant to live life with someone and have someone by our side that loves us. It can look a lot of different ways. And she started telling us about how she used to be a first lady. Remember when Lisa Ray married that man, I think it was from Turks and Caicos. It was a whole big old kerfuffle. She started to say that the reason why her marriage broke up because he was a philanderer. He was going around cheating with everybody. And then she started saying one of the people who really helped him cheat was Tisha Campbell's husband. What's his name? Not Martin. I think his name is Martin. And he helped Lisa Ray's husband run around and cheat. And then we heard that he's also been entangled with Will Smith. What a nasty web we weave. What a nasty web we weave. But sound like that man was a philanderer anyway. Can't nobody turn your man into a philanderer, Lisa Ray. He was already one. So if that guy came along, Martin or whatever his name is, came along and maybe he wasn't helping. Maybe he was just joining in. Maybe it's what they all do. And they all just started hanging out together. But I don't know if you can blame another man for making your man into something. Because I'm going to tell you right now, when you get grown, can't no woman make me into nothing I'm not. How can some woman come along and I'm so weak-minded, she going to make me into something that I'm not? Now, he might have introduced him to some more kinky stuff because we come to find out that all those people over there, P. Diddy, all them, everybody seemed to be into some kinky stuff. So maybe that went on. But anyway, she says she's lonely now. She says she buried her mother. She said all her girls are moving out. and she has a whole lot of space in her life. I didn't even know her mother passed away because I remember when Lisa Ray was on Iyanla's Fix My Life, and they had a lot of problems. They had a lot of mother-daughter issues, a lot, generational trauma. Iyanla Vanzant tried to help him, but I don't know if she helped him. Lisa Ray got a kind of way about her. She kind of stern, y'all. Lisa Ray is like really, really stern. She's not warm. You know what I mean? And it's not that I'm saying she's a mean person, but she's not warm. She don't make you want to come up to her, and she's just real stern. The way she talks, the way she speaks, the way she interacts with people, even on this show, it's just real stern. It's kind of like, it's a weird thing where she's not really bossing you around, but you kind of feel like she is. So it's really weird to say she's bossy because it wasn't like she was bossing people. But when she talks to you, because she speaks so sternly, it feels like she is kind of chastising you. I think it will be hard to be, I wouldn't say harder to be in relationship with Lisa Ray because her tone and her demeanor feels a bit critical. That's just me talking. That's just me. Maybe I'm just too sensitive. And then anyway, we had K. Michelle. K. Michelle says she's looking for some stability. She wants love. K. Michelle says she's a girl from Memphis. She got some country in her. And she says she really don't want none of these city slickers no more. She don't want no rappers, no city slickers. She kind of want a little country man. That's what she's saying. A farmer. You know, K. Michelle done got into country music. I saw that. And then it was a whole big old kerfuffle between K. Michelle and Beyonce. Remember when Beyonce made that country song? I remember reading stuff online that K. Michelle was like, people were trying to say Beyonce was the first like black person to start, venturing into country for real, like a black female. And K. Michelle was like, no, I did it before Beyonce. And she had all these songs to list that, no, I've been doing this. But, hey, I guess Beyonce brought some visibility to it. So in the end, it helps everybody. But yeah, K. Michelle, I don't know if she still makes R&B or she's just gone full on country. And later on, she tells us she won an award for being the best yodeler. The best yodeler. So I guess that is kind of country yodeling. Don't they do that at the country fairs back south somewhere in the country, yodeling fairs? Who can yodel the best? And then we had Delicious, like I said, like she wants to call herself London now. So that's what she's going to call herself. She said she was married and then her husband left her. And she had a whole lot of pain. He left her in 2022. I never believe none of it. I never really believe or understand any story because I've heard them from both men and I've heard them from women when they say they're in a marriage and then all of a sudden their partner leaves them and they don't know why. Just being a married person and you get clues, people say things, right? You don't just kissing and hugging one day and then you wake up and you roll over and you're like, where's my husband? And come to find out he left you. There's clues, there's warnings, there's signs. So that means to me, when I hear Delicious say that her husband left her, as if she has no idea what went wrong, I kind of feel like, well, is this the type of person she is in a relationship where she don't pay attention to nothing? Because let me tell you, even people who aren't the best communicators, say verbally, there's other ways people communicate. Whether it's they don't want to be around you, they're not talking to you, they're distant, they're this. There's ways people communicate even sometimes when they're a poor communicator. So you can be a poor communicator, but still offer some form of communication. So sometimes I hear men say, I don't know why my wife left me. And I'd be like, boy, get out of here. You just didn't want to pay attention. You didn't want to pay attention. And whatever she was telling you, you didn't think it was enough for her to leave you. That's what I think people are saying. I knew we had problems, but I didn't think it was so great that they would leave me. That's what I think people should start saying. Not that I don't know what their grumblings were. I don't know what their complaints were. I don't know why they were unhappy. Nah, people be telling people. But then we find out we're going to have the three ladies. And over the course of this Queen's Court, y'all, they're going to get 22 people who show up. 22 men. 22 men who are going to show up, and they got a wide variety. They got white men, they got black men, they got young men, they got older men. That part, I don't know if Lisa Ray being so much older than the other ladies. I don't know. We're going to see how it works out with this big wide range, because Lisa Ray is born in 1967. So she's, what is she? She's 57 years old. So she's 57. And then you have, who did I say? The other lady, which was Delicious. She is, how old is Delicious? Chandra Davis is her name. She's 46. Oh. So Delicious is 46. Lisa Ray's 57, 10 years apart. And then you have, who was the other girl? K. Michelle. K. Michelle is a lot younger. Let me see how old K. Michelle is. K. Michelle is 42. Okay. So she's not that much younger than Delicious. K. Michelle is 42. So between 42 and 57, there is a 15-year difference. So they need men who are going to come in those ranges for that. So that does open up a wide range of men. So more than likely, they ain't going to be tripping over each other too much. There might be a good chance that they're not going to be tripping over too many of the same men, that they're going to have completely different tastes. We'll see. We'll see. But they do got this one guy on here. He came in there. K. Michelle called him the Passion of the Christ. What this man got on? He got thorns on his head. We later find out he's a pastor. So I don't know what the thorns on the head is. What's he trying to symbolize? What he crucified like Jesus Christ was? I don't know I don't know the message. I don't know the message, mister. And then we got another man that's walking around with a cape on. What is he trying to symbolize? With a cape on. So we started learning a little bit more about K. Michelle. She's from Florida. She started telling the guys more about herself when they first meet. K. Michelle said she went to Florida A&M. She got a scholarship for yodeling. What? You get a scholarship for yodeling? And she's talking to Booker. Well, she's not talking to Booker. Lisa Ray's also talking to Booker. He's 51 years old. Booker owns restaurants. He also has a whole line of 13 beers that he distributes from out of Italy. So already I know Lisa Ray likes him, because Lisa Ray said she don't really want to be with a man that doesn't have any money. She says she has a certain lifestyle and she wants a successful person in her life. So she says, I'm a successful person, so I also want a successful relationship, and she also wants a man who's successful. So she definitely going to want to know what you do. So I think she likes this man. She likes what he does. And she starts telling him how she was married to, the Turks and Caicos prime minister, and he was a businessman. And then, she was married to football players and everything like that. And I really don't know what the point is of telling someone who you're talking to what all your exes did. Like, who goes around talking to a new guy saying, this is who I dated, and this is the profession of those other people. This is what they did. A lot of ways women do that, because if they dated, like, let's say, high-flying men or men with a lot of money, they're kind of low-key bragging so that the new person will know, this is what I'm used to. But here's the point. It may be what you're used to, but you still here where I am right now. So who cares that you dated prime ministers and football players? They all obviously treated you bad because you wouldn't be here. So in one way, you want me to emulate them with their money, but then I know you're not trying to have me emulate them in their personality. So what's the point of you telling me about them? What's the point of you telling me about them unless you either want me to somehow be jealous of them or feel some kind of way? And all I'm going to come out of it is you dated a bunch of dweebs. So why, that's the one thing I tell women, don't talk about your exes. There's no flex in it, because obviously all it's saying is you got bad decision making. We made bad decisions. We made poor decisions. And why do you want to keep bringing up your poor decisions? We know we all make poor decisions, but if you're trying to have a fresh start with a fresh person, why would you want to bring up your bad decisions? Do you bring up all your bad decisions in life? No. So why are you bringing up these men, Lisa Ray? It's because she's kind of low-key trying to flex. Oh, I was married to the prime minister. Yeah, but you just said he cheated on you. It was a philanderer. Why are you bringing him up? Same thing with football players. It's not a flex. It's not a flex. It actually makes you look bad. It actually makes you look bad. So I tell women, don't bring up what your exes are and what they do. I mean, if it comes up in conversation, that's fine. You can be transparent if the guy asks you, but to just offer it up as if you want to flex, And like I said, there's a part of Lisa Ray which I understand why she's kind of in this position, because her conversation, the way she has her conversation, the way she presents, it's not inviting. It doesn't make people want to come near her. Her conversation actually kind of feels a little bit like it pushes people away. And then we got to see this other guy, Dr. Elam. Y'all, I remember Dr. Elam from Pop the Balloon. Do any of you guys watch Pop the Balloon? He was on Pop the Balloon, y'all, and I remember him from Pop the Balloon, and I'm not quite sure I liked him all the way. I don't know if he was a little bit pompous or something, or he was really trying to read the ladies a little bit too much. He was real critical because I think he thought, oh, I'm highfalutin because I'm a doctor. Y'all, he was on Pop the Balloon, but he's Ghanaian. He was born in Ghana, but he was raised in Dallas, and he went to Morehouse, and he's a traveling dental surgeon. Morehouse, there it is. Morehouse, there it is. Let me tell you, Morehouse produces some fine men. Yes, the institution does. But men coming out of Morehouse have a reputation of having a big head. A big head, because they be pumping them up. They be pumping them up. And you know what? In one way, it's great because we do need men, black men specifically, to walk around here with confidence. But Morehouse got their fair share of men whose heads are bigger than this room I'm sitting in. And Dr. Elam is one of them. He's a traveling dental surgeon. He get paid a lot of money. He gets paid a lot of money. So what he does is he probably goes into places where they don't have, maybe smaller towns where they don't have the expertise in that town or that area. And so, when you live in a big city, you wouldn't need a traveling dental surgeon. But if you are in a smaller town, you may have a general doctor or a general dentist, but the specialty dentists aren't there. So then they probably have to order like a person like Dr. Elam to come in. And when Dr. Elam comes in, he probably get to charge high prices. That's not bad. That's not a bad thing, but it also means that he travels a lot. He's gone a lot. But he was having a conversation with, I think it was Delicious, and he's obviously he is younger than Delicious, because Dr. Elam is 38 and Delicious, I said, was 47. And he said age is just a number. And Queen London said, yeah, you ain't skipping a beat with these answers, Dr. Elam. You're not skipping a beat. And she likes him. She likes him a lot. She gonna ask him out on a date. They get to choose 2 dates. So after they mix and mingle with all these men, they're going to get to choose 2 dates. And she's going to choose Dr. Elam, London is, for a date, because she like how the way he chatting her up and making her feel good. And then Lisa Ray over here also dates or goes and starts talking with this guy, Norman. Now, this is when it gets weird, y'all. She goes and starts talking to this guy, Norman. And come to find out, y'all, Norman dated Lisa Ray's daughter for a while. Not like, oh, they went out on a date. They dated Lisa Ray's for a while. And this was 10 years ago. It wasn't recent, but 10 years ago, he dated her daughter. Now, I don't know how old he is now. Let's say he's 38 or 40 now, which means maybe 10 years ago, he was 30 years old. He was younger. Oh, he's 38. So he's 38. So 10 years ago, he was 28. That's when he dated her daughter. And so she's having conversation with him. She's not really telling everybody she recognizes him. She's trying to play like, I know who he is. He knows who I am. But we're not telling everybody else at first. Later on, she tells everyone. But at first, they're playing low key. And then we have K. Michelle. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this Norman thing because it comes on later on. But I'm going to go in the order of my notes because this show is hard to kind of follow in terms of recapping it because it'd be all over the place. And so I'm just going to go in the order in which it happened on the show. And so they flip to K. Michelle talking to the man with the cape. And then K. Michelle starts running around talking about how she's a control freak and she's tired of being in control. These bad dating techniques. Why are you running around saying that to K. Michelle, that you're a control freak and you're tired of being in control? Is it because she's saying that's her truth? Well, if it's your truth and you don't want to be it anymore, then why would you say it? Why would you say it? If you're actively trying to be someone different and you want a man who's going to interact with you in a different way, why do you need to tell such negative things about yourself that you're a control freak? Because who knows, his image of a control freak may not be what you're thinking about when you say a control freak. You may say you're a control freak because you're OCD. He may be thinking you're a control freak because you're going to be telling him what to do every day, every hour on the day. That's two different things. So you put a label on yourself. You've called yourself a control freak, and now you don't even know what that man thinks a control freak is. So you could be turning him off just because you use this negative label for yourself. Stop labeling yourself. Stop offering up so much negative information about yourself, about all the men you dated and what they did to you and how they was horrible men. That's why I'm here, and how I'm a control freak. But I'm tired. So you a tired control freak? That's even worse. So not only are you not a happy control freak, you a tired control freak. Why are you offering this information? These are some bad first impressions. Horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. But she over here talking to this man with the cape on. He's in banking. He's a banker. He a banker by day. Probably got to wear a tie and suit. But then in the afternoon or in the evening time, he got a big cape on. He's a bank VP. But she trying to tell him how she kind of likes a little bit of everything. She's country. She's this. This man, Bailey, there's a phrase saying, are you easy on the eyes? Bailey ain't easy on the eyes. Bailey a little bit hard on the eyes, y'all. He a little hard on the eyes. I know his money helps him out here in the world. Hope he got a good personality, because I don't know. Maybe he's some people's type. Let me not say nothing. He hard on the eyes, though. He hard on the eyes. But then he started saying something that K. Michelle wasn't with. He started talking about he likes to submit to God. And then he said once he submits to God, then the woman can submit to him. And all of a sudden, K. Michelle was like, that ain't her thing. First, I was like, what, the God things? I know K. Michelle says she's so spiritual into God and everything. So I even think she used to sing gospel music, I think. So when she said she's not her thing, I was like, oh, the submission part ain't your thing. She into the God thing, but the submission part is not her thing. Well, if you're not into submitting, then I guess that means you ain't that tired of being in control. Because when you give up control, you also give up leadership sometimes. Because a lot of people want to be in control because they want to be the leader. The leader's in control. The leader's telling everybody what to do. They're orchestrating. They're doing that. But when you step back from leadership and you say, I don't want to be a leader anymore, then guess what you have to do? You do have to submit to somebody, because somebody got to be a leader. Somebody got to lead. It's just like at work. Let's say you say, you know what? I don't really want to be a manager because I don't like what managers do. I don't like the responsibilities that managers have. I don't want all that on my plate. I got to work more hours. This and that. I don't want the responsibility. Got it. Well, that means you're going to have to listen to another manager. You got to submit to another manager. You can't be running around like K. Michelle talking about, I'm tired of being in control, but then walk around saying, I don't want to submit to nobody. You're going to have to submit to somebody's decisions. K. Michelle, no wonder she ain't found nobody. A lot of people, if they really just write down the stuff that's in their head, they will figure out how they sound silly when they start trying to pick people out. It sounds silly. I don't want to submit. I'm not into submission to nobody, but yet I'm tired of being in control. But yet I'm a control freak. Girl. Then we meet this man named Chris. He's 40, and he's admiring Delicious. He likes Delicious. He said he was in a long distance relationship before. And Delicious starts asking him, what happened in your relationship? What went bad? And he started talking about the girls didn't have no friends and they wanted to hang out with him all the time. I'm telling you, half of the people out here who are single is because y'all are a poor interviewer. Y'all are a poor interviewer. I be interviewing people that work for jobs. Y'all know I'm an engineering manager right now, and I'm trying to hire some engineers. And I'm telling you, folks be having some poor answers on interviews. And when I look at these answers for the job of being someone something, whether it's the woman applying for a job to be a man's wife or a man applying for a job to be a woman's husband, it's poor. This man sat on here and said, I don't like girls who don't have no friends and don't hang around them all the time. That's such a poor answer. Now, if what he's trying to say is he wants a woman that also has a very rich life and that we also can blend our lives, but I want her to also find her happiness in moments with friends and family along with me or whatever else. That's what he should say. But what he framed it as was like a negative comment, and it made him look bad, and it made him look bad in front of Delicious. And that's what I mean. Maybe people need to learn how to rephrase what their thoughts are on the inside. You know, maybe they need to learn how to reframe themselves, describe themselves differently, and give some thought to it. Really, really give some thought to it. Because these answers are horrible. No wonder they're here. And these people are really too old to be giving answers like this. She says she liked his assertiveness and the fact that he gets straight to the point. You may like it now, but later on you're not going to like it because it's kind of rude. It's mean-spirited the way he said it. So that's what you got to do. That you can't just be looking over what people say, because that means they don't give any thought to what they say. There's nothing wrong with being straightforward. I'm kind of a straightforward person. But there's also a way that you can phrase things and say things, because you could take a little bit of the sting off of what you got to say. You know, lots of times I know I got to say something difficult. You know, it's going to be hard for anyone to take any kind of way, but I can still put some care into the way that I say it. And when you say stuff like just boom, where you don't care about its impact at all, that's just mean-spirited. But you know what? She went ahead and she asked him on a date. I don't know. Maybe it's because she liked the way he looked. I don't know. And then Michelle is over here also kind of talking to this guy, Afam. He's 48. He's a software engineer. And she starts explaining to him, how her life has been. She almost died from having these surgeries. She had to have 13 surgeries to remove all that stuff that was in her. She almost died, and it changed her life. And she liked him, so she went ahead and she asked him out on a date too. Like I said, they get 2 dates. And then K. Michelle also invited the Passion of Christ on a date, Zach, which I don't know why. And then he had on some purple Jordans. K. Michelle's all over the place. She is all over the place. All over the place. I don't know if she's trying to pull a JR with Tamar Braxton, but it didn't go well. That didn't go well, but I don't know. Zach, I guess, used to be a preacher, and now he got on these purple Jordans with this suit he got on. I don't know. But then we got to see this date, y'all. We got to see this date with Lisa Ray. Well, first she tells everybody that this guy that she's going to go on a date with, Norman, used to date her daughter 10 years ago. And why the reasons why she chose him, not because she's looking at him in a romantic way, she clears that up, is because she wants the whole story. Because obviously she didn't get the story from her daughter. Or maybe she wants to know his side of the story. Maybe that's what's going on. So she's going to have this date the next day. And they're all talking about, they're all excited now about going on the dates. Lisa Ray says she's a woman's girl. She's really into the woman's girl, which is interesting because if I remember on Iyanla Van Zant, I'm thinking that she wasn't really of a woman's girl. I'm thinking that she and her daughters, they kind of had a lot of issues, and she had a lot of issues with her mother. I don't know. I might have to go back and look at it. But any of you, if y'all remember, please let me know, does this line up? Is Lisa Ray really a woman's girl, or was she kind of always at odds? Is she at odds with women? I don't know. But I'm going to tell you this. All the ladies were more fresh-faced in the morning, and they actually look better than they look when they have all that makeup on. Lisa Ray looked better without makeup than she did when she had on makeup. That makeup Lisa Ray had on made her look older. But when she was fresh-faced in the kitchen, she actually looked younger. They all did. I think K. Michelle is already just a pretty person. She looked good. And even Delicious looked very, very good without makeup. It's interesting that the makeup makes them look older than what they really are. They really ought to think about wearing less makeup because they look younger with less makeup on. So anyway, Delicious started telling a story about how, she was divorced. Her husband just walked out on her. And then she said for 2 years not after that, I don't know how long it was. He had already been gone for months on end. She would still post like she was still with the guy. So when I told you before that Delicious, when she said she doesn't know why her husband went away, that's a lie. She knows. She doesn't want to face the truth. She has a problem facing reality. And so the fact that she sat and still was posting Instagram posts as if her husband and her were still together tells us another situation where she doesn't like to face reality. And that might be causing her a lot of other problems with her the way she presents herself as this sexy vixen. She's getting older now. And I'm not saying you can't be sexy at her age, but I don't know if you still need to be a vixen. You can be sexy at any age. You can be beautiful at any age. But should that be the way you make your money? I don't know. You should have maybe parlayed that into something else. And there's something about Delicious that kind of gives me the illusion that she lives in sort of like a delusional world. So when she tells me her husband left and she don't know why, I don't know. Girl, ask your friends. They probably know because they probably saw it and know what it is. Then she says she faked the fall for months to pretend like he still lived there because she didn't want to face reality. But one thing they said they all have in common, all these ladies, they said they all have been in abusive relationships. Not just physically, but mentally. Physically and mentally bruised. So they kind of have this sort of bond, that they have a bond together. And then we started getting to some of the dates. Like I said, Elam went out on a date with Delicious. And he said, not only is he a traveling surgeon, y'all, not only can he fix your teeth, but he can make you swoon because he writes poetry and he's a rapping dentist. A rapping, traveling dentist. And he laid down a poem of poetry. And it was cute. I liked it. But like I said, I seen him on Pop the Balloon. And I think Dr. Elon might be a little bit full of himself. But who knows? I ain't going to count him out. I'm not going to count him out. And then K. Michelle went out on safari with her man. And she running around with this guy, the Passion of Christ guy. And they're looking at all the animals. And every time he sees an animal, he go, look at that fool. Look at that fool. He calling the animals a fool, y'all. And K. Michelle's like, this triggering to me. It's triggering to me because typically people call other people a fool. And she said, I don't like that word. I don't like the word at all. And he says, oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to. I'll stop doing it. But then he keeps doing it. He goes, look at that giraffe. Look at that fool. Look at that fool. That just tells me he don't have no advanced language, no advanced vocabulary. That would have turned me off too, K. Michelle. And the fact that it didn't turn her off enough that she don't want to have nothing to do with him, that was alarming. A lot of people overlook the early signs because what they think they're doing is, I don't want to be petty. But really what you have to look at is do these early signs point to something more significant? Because let me tell you what tends to happen. Lots of times men will give you clues very early on. Just like this man said, look at that fool. Look at that fool. He's supposed to be a whole pastor. Why is he even using the word fool at all? That's the first thing. Then what happens is when you tell the man, I don't like that word, what the man will start to do is he may change his outside because he knows you don't like it, but wherever it came from on the inside is not changed. So it will manifest itself and reveal itself in another way. That's why you got to really be careful of overlooking everything. When you see a red flag, you need to go deeper. What you don't need to do is overlook it. You don't have to cut him off. You don't have to say, you know what, I'm not going to go out with him again because he said the word fool. No, but you do need to go deeper to see if it's even more deeply rooted. But what you also don't need to do is brush it aside. Absolutely not. It deserves attention. Just like that other guy said, I don't want no woman around me because she didn't have no friends. You better investigate. And then Lisa Ray, on her date, she went around and she took them a champagne tasting. And that's when she going to have the conversation with Norman. And so one of the things she asked Norman about was, why did you and my daughter break up? What's going on? And she said her daughter told her that he was living with someone at the same time that they were dating. That's what the daughter told Lisa Ray. Lisa Ray, we broke up because he was living with someone at the same time we're dating. But they dated for several years. So he was living with someone for all that time. How could he be living with someone all that time and you not know it if you dated all those for a couple of years? And he said, nope, that's not the story, Lisa Ray. Your daughter lied to you. The daughter lied to you is because we were going to have a baby. And he told the story that Lisa Ray's daughter, I think her name is Kai, got pregnant. They got pregnant together. And they were going to have a child. And then the next part of the story he tells is, and the daughter, Kai, decided not to have the baby, decided to have the procedure done to not have the baby. And he wasn't with that. He was unhappy the fact that she made the decision not to have the baby. But you know what? Hey, it's like, what is it? The woman's right to choose. It's her body. But I understand the man helped make the baby. It's very, very tricky. But she said, the daughter said she didn't want to carry the baby. She didn't want to have the baby. She wasn't ready to be the mother. And so that tore them apart because he was upset about it. He cried, y'all. He had tears streaming down his face. And he said that broke him up. And then he said, but then here's the part where I think he got wrong. What he said was the reason she didn't want to have the baby is because she didn't want to disappoint you, Lisa Ray. What? Say that again now, Norman. You trying to tell me she didn't have a whole baby because she didn't want to disappoint Lisa Ray. Remember, Lisa Ray said she's a girl's girl. So I don't know if you can be a girl's girl, Lisa Ray, and your daughter can't come to you in her truth. So anyway, the daughter, this is what Norman said, but I even question that because I say, if Kai really wanted a child and she really wanted this man, both, she wanted the child and she wanted this man. What this man is trying to make us believe is that she was willing to get rid of her child and get rid of a man just so she wouldn't make her mother upset. No, I suspect that Kai didn't want the child anyway. She wasn't ready to have the baby, and she wasn't ready to have the baby with Norman. And that's why she did it. But instead of telling Norman that to his face, that no, I'm doing this because I really don't want to have a baby with you at this time, maybe she used her mother, Lisa Ray, as an excuse. But within all of that, y'all, there's a whole lot of issues going on. Because the daughter, one is probably used Lisa Ray as the excuse not to have the baby to tell Norman. The second is when Lisa Ray says she's a girl's girl and she has this safe landing for women. Obviously not, because your daughter didn't feel like she was a safe place where she could come and tell you about it. Not only did she not tell you about it in the moment, she hasn't told you about it even after 10 years. Because remember, this is 10 years ago. There could be some place where I could understand the daughter didn't want to tell the mother in the moment. But later on, maybe she would come back and say, well, I just want to tell you 10 years ago, this is what happened to me. So like I said, sometimes people describe themselves and it's not really what other people see them. So when people describe themselves on dates, you're getting to know a person, don't ask for their description of themselves. Ask what is the description of other people to them? How would your friends describe you? Not how you describe yourself, because Lisa Ray called herself a girl's girl, but yet the closest girl to her, which would be her daughter, has never felt comfortable enough to tell her the trauma she went through by having to do that with the baby, and she doesn't feel comfortable telling her even 10 years later. I don't know if Lisa Ray is as safe a space as she thinks, and me just watching Lisa Ray on the screen, I tell you, I even get like, ooh, I don't know. I don't know if I would get that tenderness from Lisa Ray if I could do that. So Lisa Ray cried. She was a little bit heartbroken over it as well. Later on at the end, where they get to get rid of two men and say they're not going to make it, Lisa Ray sends Norman home and says, okay, Norman, I wish you could have made a connection with some of these other ladies, either K. Michelle or Delicious, because they're really closer to his age. But K. Michelle and Delicious ain't going to want to talk to this man after we done heard these stories. So he was doomed from the beginning. So he went home and he was crying. He was crying to go home. So when Delicious is dating this guy, Chris, again, and he's in media and advertising, and he talks about how beautiful her smile is and how peaceful she looks. And she says, "Do you think my sexy image is going to be any bit of a problem for you, or my fan base is going to be a problem for you?" Girl, it's going to be a problem for you. You 47. These days is almost over, Delicious. How long you going to be a sexy image with a fan base and you 47 years old? You at the end of your career. Girl, you better start transitioning. Talk about, is it going to be okay for him? When are you going to transition? Instead of asking 40, 50-year-old men to be accepting of this, when are you going to start transitioning to something that's not all about this? Like I said, ain't nothing wrong with being sexy, but when you going to transition to being, that's not all you are, is sexy. When you going to offer something else? But Lisa Ray liked her date with the other guy, Booker, which was the real date. And he started telling her about, I guess he's had 2 marriages. He now got a 5-year-old. So he had like an 18, an older one. And now I think he had older kids. And now he got a 5-year-old too. Does Lisa Ray want to be with a man that has a 5-year-old? I don't know. I probably not. Once you get 57, you don't be wanting to date nobody with no 5-year-old. Why I want to date a... I don't think that's going to go nowhere. Who knows? I don't know. She says she a girl's girl. Is it a girl or a boy? Is the 5-year-old a girl or a boy? Because she says she a girl. But he said he don't have no voids in life. He says he's a happy person. He enjoys life. He just wants someone to spend time with. That's kind of what his thing is. So I guess we're going to have to see that as we go forward. So these are all the dates right now. We're going to get to see going forward how this goes ahead. But so far, I enjoyed the first episode. They ended up eliminating Norman and they ended up eliminating Rodney. So Norman and Rodney got eliminated. And Zach got to stay. Passion of the Christ got to stay. So next week, they're going to get a whole new crop of new men. I don't know how many they're going to get. I don't know if it's another 10 or whatever. They're going to get a whole new crop of men, and I guess we'll see what goes on after that. But anyway, that's it, y'all. That's all I got for now. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.